In the realm of soul music, few voices resonate with the depth and emotion of Donny Hathaway. Born on October 1st, 1945 in Chicago, Illinois, Donny Edward Hathaway would go on to become one of the most influential and talented artists of his generation, leaving an indelible mark on the world of music before his tragically short life came to an end. Donny's story begins in the city of his birth, but it wasn't long before he found himself in St. Louis, Missouri. Raised by his grandmother, Martha Pitts, Donny was immersed in the world of gospel music from an early age. Martha was a professional gospel singer, and her influence on young Donny was profound. By the tender age of 3, Donny was already being dubbed the nation's youngest gospel singer, performing alongside his grandmother in churches across the city. As Donny grew, so did his musical talents. He was a natural at the piano, and his rich, soulful voice seemed to carry the weight of generations. His childhood was steeped in the traditions of the church, and this spiritual foundation would remain a cornerstone of his music throughout his life. However, Donny's musical interests weren't confined to gospel alone. As he entered his teenage years, he began to explore other genres, including jazz and R&B. In 1963, Hathaway's exceptional talents earned him a fine arts scholarship to Howard University in Washington, D.C. It was here that Donny's musical world expanded exponentially. He studied music theory and piano, honing his skills and broadening his understanding of music. More importantly, Howard University provided Donny with a network of fellow musicians and artists who would play significant roles in his future career. During his time at Howard, Donny formed a jazz trio and began performing in local clubs. His reputation as a skilled pianist and arranger grew quickly, and he soon found himself working with established artists. It was also during this period that Donny met his future wife, Eulaula Van, a classmate who shared his passion for music. Despite his success as a student and performer, Donny left Howard in 1967 without completing his degree. He had caught the attention of the music industry, and opportunities were calling. He moved back to Chicago, where he began working as a producer, arranger, and session musician for Curtis Mayfield's Curtom Records. Donny's work behind the scenes was impressive, but it was clear that his talents were meant for the spotlight. In 1969, he signed with Atco Records, a subsidiary of Atlantic Records, and began work on his debut album. Everything is Everything, released in 1970, announced Donny Hathaway as a major new talent in soul music. The album showcased his exceptional voice, piano skills, and songwriting abilities, with tracks that blended soul, gospel, and jazz influences. But it was Donny's second album, simply titled Donny Hathaway, released in 1971, that truly cemented his place in the pantheon of soul greats. The album featured what would become one of his signature songs, a cover of Leon Russell's A Song for You. Donny's interpretation of the song was nothing short of masterful, infusing it with a depth of emotion that made it uniquely his own. As Donny's solo career was taking off, he also began a fruitful collaboration with fellow Howard University alum, Roberta Flack. Their duets, including Where Is the Love and The Closer I Get to You, became instant classics, showcasing the incredible chemistry between their voices. However, as Donny's star rose in the music world, he was also battling personal demons. He had been diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, a condition that would increasingly impact his life and work. Despite this challenge, Donny continued to create beautiful music. His 1973 album, Extension of a Man, is considered by many to be his masterpiece, featuring the hit single, Someday We'll All Be Free. Donny's live performances during this period were legendary. His 1972 live album, recorded at the Troubadour in Hollywood, captured the raw energy and emotion of his concerts. Donny had an uncanny ability to connect with his audience, his voice conveying joy, pain, love, and struggle with equal power. As the 1970s progressed, Donny's mental health issues became more pronounced. His behavior became erratic, and he began to withdraw from public life. His output slowed, and he was hospitalized several times. Despite these challenges, Donny continued to work when he could, collaborating with other artists and occasionally performing. In 1978, Donny seemed to be on the verge of a comeback. He recorded a second album of duets with Roberta Flack, and there was talk of a new solo album. However, tragedy struck on January 13, 1979. Donny Hathaway was found dead on the sidewalk below the 15th floor window of his room at the Essex House Hotel in New York City. His death was ruled a suicide. He was only 33 years old. The news of Donny's death sent shockwaves through the music community and his fan base. He left behind his wife, Eulala, and two daughters, Lala and Kenya. Lala would go on to become a successful singer in her own right, carrying on her father's musical legacy. In the years since his death, Donny Hathaway's influence on music has only grown. His unique blend of soul, gospel, and jazz continues to inspire new generations of artists. His vocal style, characterized by its emotional depth and technical brilliance, is often cited as a major influence by contemporary R&B and soul singers. Donny's legacy extends beyond his recordings. He was a pioneer in bringing social consciousness to soul music, addressing issues of racial inequality and urban poverty in his songs. His music spoke to the African American experience in a way that was both deeply personal and universally relatable. The tragedy of Donny Hathaway's life is that it was cut so short. One can only imagine the music he might have created had he lived longer. However, the body of work he left behind in his brief career is a testament to his extraordinary talent and enduring impact on American music. In the years since his passing, Donny Hathaway has received numerous posthumous honors. He was inducted into the St. Louis Walk of Fame in 1999, and in 2008, he was honored with a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. His music continues to be celebrated and rediscovered by new listeners, ensuring that his powerful voice and message live on. Donny Hathaway's story is one of remarkable talent, profound struggle, and lasting impact. From his early days as a gospel prodigy to his rise as a soul superstar, Donny's journey was marked by both triumph and tragedy. His battle with mental illness adds a poignant dimension to his legacy, reminding us of the human struggles that often accompany great artistry. In the end, Donny Hathaway's life, though tragically short, was one of immense musical achievement. His voice, once described as a molasses-dipped baritone, continues to move listeners decades after his passing. His songs, with their perfect blend of technical skill and raw emotion, remain benchmarks in soul music. The story of Donny Hathaway is not just a tale of musical genius, but also a reminder of the power of art to transcend personal struggles and touch the lives of others. In his music, Donny poured out his soul, sharing his joys and pains, his hopes and fears. It's this honesty and vulnerability that continues to resonate with listeners today. As we remember Donny Hathaway, we celebrate not just his music, but the spirit behind it, a spirit of love, of struggle, of hope, and of the enduring power of the human voice to express what words alone cannot. In the grand tapestry of American music, Donny Hathaway